of patients being separated from their loved ones due to visitation restrictions. Dr. Fenster was inspired to create Voice Love, a device that keeps patients directly connected with friends and family and reinvented medical communication. And in Georgia, Dr. Gulshan Harji founded the Clarkston Community Health Center. The center provides free care for the diverse needs in our underserved community, where over 60 languages are spoken. She was so passionate about helping others that she sold her successful private practice to work at the clinic full-time, and she used proceeds from the sale for scholarship for college-bound seniors. America heard their stories and voted, and your Humankind Healthcare Worker of the Year is Dr. Tamatha Fenster.
New York City was just bombarded by COVID, as most of the world knows now. Everyone was doing something to help. And they asked if anybody wanted to help in the ICU. I am an OBGYN, so I said, please, is there any way I can help? Is there anything I can do? And I heard that one of the main areas that was in need of help was informing families on what's happening to their loved ones in the ICU. Over and over, they said, please, let us just have our loved one hear our voice. That's when Dr. Mark Schiffman and I went to a local kids store to find a speaker that connected to a cell phone app. Then the app could be given to the family and they communicate directly through the speaker. There are many instances in medicine where we know that the sound of a loved one's voice can decrease rates of delirium.
I just want you to know how much we love you.
It allowed families to all of a sudden be the ones in control, initiating conversation when their hearts were telling them to connect to their loved ones. We realized that hardware was a limitation, and now it's an app on a phone. You just type in Voice Love, you can download the app, and that will give you a special channel code, and you can text that channel code to anyone in the world. They then open the app, enter that channel code, and it's immediate connectivity.
I love you, Mommy. I miss you so much.
We had people whose loved ones were going to pass, and they couldn't come in person, but they could play their loved one's favorite song as they passed. They could read them their favorite book as they passed. They could have loved ones from all over the country sing to them, as they took their last breaths. People at home never feel isolated again. I want immediate connection with unlimited people anywhere in the world at the touch of a button. Voice Love can be useful. So I just hope people see it as accessible and easy to use as we've designed it. It's limitless. It's as creative as you can be.
Just like there were outstanding acts of kindness in the healthcare industry, sports became a source of unity and togetherness as well. Whether you're a cheering fan, hopping on a 6 a.m. Peloton ride, or coaching Little League, or just playing a casual one-on-one backyard basketball game, sports brings us together and bolsters our sense of community. This next Humankind Award goes to a player, coach, or a team who exemplifies the highest level of sportsmanship. We saw that in two very special athletes. Here are the finalists for the Best of Sports Kind. Hannah Jordan was just 6 years old when she was diagnosed with a life-threatening disease that required her to use a feeding tube. She decided that this disease would not defeat her, so she started riding a bike and got hooked on the sport. In fact, Hannah became the youngest person to cycle up Pikes Peak with a feeding tube, and every day she inspires others to live their very best lives. When the pandemic hit, 51-year-old Nicole Retigliano was missing friends and family, like many of us were. When restrictions started lifting, Nicole set out to start a kickball game to bring people together. Turns out there were a lot of people like Nicole, and her kickball game is now a 40s and older all-women kickball league. America fell in love with both of these stories, but only one can take home the title. Our Best of Sports Kind winner is Hannah Jordan.
I was really sick my whole life. I had an epiphany when I was 8 years old. I was like, I can either sit here on the couch and I can die, and I can just take my, I guess you could say, death sentence, or I can run with it and I can do something that kind of makes the world freak out a little bit. We did a lot of testing and they found out I have an unknown rare metabolic disease. My heart was enlarged, my gut was shutting down, my lungs collapsing. When I got my feeding tube, I woke up and I started immediately crying because I felt like my life was over from that moment, and I didn't really have the best cards in my hand. It sounds kind of crazy, but it was kind of really a blur. I saw this little magazine, it's the Oklahoma Sports and Fitness magazine, and it had this triathlon in it, and I was like, I've never heard of this. I was like, I want to do it because I love a challenge. I was more afraid to not try than to fail. I fell in love with the bike, and I still didn't know how to ride a bike at that time when I won. It was an indoor spin bike, and I did 10.7 miles in like 30-something minutes. When I was 13, and I was like, I think I might be good at this. And my mom was like, okay, well, let's get you a bike then. I still kind of healed from that. My heart went back to normal size. And, I still had gut issues, but I could manage that. And it kind of got everything moving, and I was starting to build muscle, and which I've never had before. I had actually muscle wasting disease. And it transformed me into like a new creature. They kind of think I wrote my epigenetic code, which means you kind of just rewrite your DNA structure where it makes it better, where you can kind of function, and it's not the one you start off with, but you made it stronger. We actually designed with a company called Bora Teamwear a shirt with them to put my feeding tube and bag. So I'll show you it. It's these little guys right here, which doesn't look too big, but if you're carrying that around for about 13 years or however long, people are like shaving their legs, and I'm here, Dora the Explorer, lugging a backpack around while my pump's going off in a race. And so I remember this one race, these ladies started attacking every time my pump went off, and I was like having to muscle memory to get my pump to work while I was racing, and I was like, oh no. I love changing lives, and it's always one step at a time. You don't have to save the whole world at once, but if you're doing something, we have a saying in racing, is you're always beating the people on the couch, just by getting up and moving. If it's one step at a time, that's all that matters. Try everything, even if you fail. Failure is not really failing. It's learning how to work a mousetrap better. It's giving you the opportunity to try harder and to do better than the people that even got it right on the first time, and the people that are sick or have any disabilities or anything that they think that stops them. Do what you can do, not what you can't do. This life is about trying and exploring our world and exploring opportunities. Sometimes that's all it takes. Just go out there and give it your best.
And now we shift to an award that goes to someone who committed an outstanding act of kindness that was caught on video. And Nevada high schooler Skyler Carter went above and beyond for his special needs classmates. He was devastated to find out that a bully had put his friend's tennis shoes in the toilet before PE class. Skyler showed up at his home and was caught on camera with a big surprise, a brand new pair of sneakers. Sonam Sinji spends his days navigating the busy streets of New York City, making food deliveries. He came upon a fellow delivery man with a flat tire, and having had a similar experience, he knew the consequences of not getting the job done. He didn't hesitate to lend a total stranger his moped to complete his mission. We're so grateful that both of these incredible moments were captured. The winner of the act of kindness caught on video is Skyler Carter.
I remember it was senior class. The teacher brought up this fact that Tanner got his shoes dropped into the toilet. And I just felt so bad for him because I've been bullied before. I know how that felt, just getting put down for just the way he is. We can't change any of that, but we can definitely change the way we see and the way we look at him. I went up to him first and I was like, Tanner, what size are your shoes, my man? And he looked down at his shoes and he was going to tell me, but the bell rang, so he had to go to class. So I go into the teacher's aide and I say, hey, do you know what size his feet are? And she tells me, and I write that down. I sit down with my mom and I tell my mom, hey mom, this is what happened at school. I would like to replace this kid's shoes. The camera caught me on the interaction and everything. I had no idea that doorbell had, a camera on it.
I heard Tanner got his shoes dropped in the toilet, so I'm going to replace them.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Dude, what do you say, Tanner? Thank you.
You're welcome, man.
What are you telling him? Thank you.
Yeah,
That's
I heard about that, and I was just like, oh my gosh. Kids can be mean.
Kids can be mean. Very mean. Well, that is amazing, dude. Thank you so
Yep.
much, Skyler.
Yep. Yeah, you're welcome, bud.
Just seeing his face and like his dad's face kind of light up was just bringing them happiness. It really brought a lot of peace in my mind. This life is full of negatives, and people are very quick to look towards the negative. I'm actually happy that I was able to not only help Tanner, but hopefully help kind of the world see that there's more to life than just being negative. When you see somebody that's in need, don't hesitate to kind of be bold and just say, hey, I'm here to help you.
It is so inspiring to see the way people come through for each other. We've got a lot more kindness on the way. But first, if you all are sitting at home and scrolling through your camera roll and you have an act of kindness caught on video, share it with us. Tag #BestOfHumankind. And while you've got your phone out, go to humankindawards.com to enter to help further your cause. Just by signing up, you'll be registered to win $1,000 for yourself and $1,000 for your charity of choice. It's that easy. And now let's continue with one of our most popular categories, the best of animal kind.
Hi, I'm Amy Gilbreth, the president of PetSmart Charities. As the leading funder of animal welfare in the United States and Canada, we're so proud to present the Best of Animal Kind Awards 2021. At PetSmart Charities, we see the positive impact pets make on families and communities firsthand through the work that we fund. Today, we celebrate the kindest people on earth, working on behalf of animals and humans in need of love, comfort, and care. Congratulations to the Best of Animal Kind Award finalists and to the winner. You inspire us to continue to do our part to make the world a better place for pets and all who love them.
The next award goes to the family members we choose. The 2021 Best of Animal Kind nominees ranged from pet parents who build animal shelters to animal activists who rescue wildlife and much more. But two stories rose to the top. Jeff and Michele Allen in New Jersey are the founders of a year-round hospice and sanctuary dedicated to senior dogs. They also rescue terminally ill dogs from bad conditions, making sure their last days are spent in comfort and care. And on the West Coast, Victoria Curtis is making a difference in the lives of our service members, one veteran and one dog at a time. She built an area inside the dog park she founded and dedicated it to service dog training for veterans experiencing PTSD and other trauma. Through the program, Rough Healing Heroes, she's given some 250 veterans the incredible gift of canine companionship. These are amazing people who show kindness and compassion for others, including our four-legged friends. We asked America to vote on their stories, and the Best of Animal Kind winners are Michele and Jeff Allen.
Like anything in your life that changes everything about you, it was completely by accident. We lost a dog suddenly, and our lives were very empty. And I called a friend who volunteered at a shelter, and I said, we need a dog. We adopted Goldie. We promised to love her for the rest of our lives. Her time with us was very short.
And the strange thing was when Michele came to me and says, oh, we're going to adopt Goldie. And I'm like, well, we're already fostering her. Why do we need to adopt her? And she said, because she's not going to go to the Rainbow Bridge without having a family. There's a lack of resources. That's what we really found out, that there's a lack of resources for these senior dogs, for these hospice dogs. And, eventually that's what led us to opening up Monkey's House.
So Monkey's House is our house. We started fostering for rescues, and we got the reputation for taking hospice animals.
So we will take those dogs, bring them to our little 6-acre farmette that we have here in New Jersey. And they basically live out their lives here, getting the best vet care, tailored nutrition, and just enjoying the final chapter of their lives.
At the moment, there's 23 dogs here on site.
All these dogs live within our home, and there's no kennels here. We have a couple of special suites, and just the individual personalities each one has. They're completely different, every one of them. It's just a joy to be around them.
These dogs are willing to love with their whole heart. They are using up every single moment of their life, enjoying being happy and loving. Life is short, let's get to it. And then they do. This is 90% the happiest place on earth and 10% the hardest. We want people to see that animals are for life, and a devastating diagnosis is not the end of your time with your dog. We have these moments that sound so simple or sound so not special, but when you know what the animal has overcome to experience this, it makes it incredibly special, and we're gifted with that more than once a day. More than once a day.
Congratulations again to Michele and Jeff Allen. What an honor to represent this meaningful award.
You know, we all get teary about animal stories, but I think we get downright weepy when it comes to the videos about our national heroes. Best Military Kind Awards goes to a member of the U.S. Armed Forces who displays a high level of kindness while sacrificing for their country, their fellow service members, and their families back home. For 2 years, U.S. Army First Lieutenant Conwar Singh encouraged the armed forces to accommodate the religious practices of all service members. Now, thousands of military personnel are able to serve their country while honoring their spiritual identity. And you may know about Marvel's Captain America, but Air Force veteran and police officer Christopher Douglas is Captain America of Texas. Chris has worked with the Make-A-Wish Foundation to make countless dreams come true. We salute both of these patriotic Americans, but only one can be named the best military kind, and that person is Christopher Douglas.
I'm a Texas native. I'm the oldest of 6. Been married 18 years. Got 2 kids, a senior and a 5th grader. I served 3 years in the Air Force, and I've been a police officer for 15 and a half years now. Started a little over 4 years ago. My wife and a good friend of hers were doing their own nonprofit charity work, and I would try and help. I've always loved working with kids, you know, especially when I'm on duty or something like that, just the interaction. I was online, and I saw this fella over in England, I believe it was, and he was visiting children's hospitals dressed as Spider-Man. I was like, that's it. That's what I want to do. I just didn't know what superhero because I wasn't about to squeeze it in no tights. I reached out to some of the local children's hospitals, and they were more than happy to accommodate a visitor, come visit the kids, and that was it. That's what started everything. I don't care how strong you are, how bad you think you are. Nothing gets you more worse than a suffering child. So I've had a couple that I knew were terminal, and you never would have known that talking to them, seeing their facial expressions and how they react to me or to the character, and knowing what their diagnosis is, it puts a lot of things in perspective. I want people to realize that they can do more. They can be more. I hope that what I do at least impacts one person, and that person can impact another person, and so on and so forth. So, I mean, you essentially have the domino effect, and little by little, we can, start to see a very visible change in how we live and in the world that our kids are going to inherit one day.
Next, we proudly present the Best of Earthkind Award to someone who is not only kind to others, but who is kind to our planet, like Sara Stewart, who created the Unity Gardens in South Bend, Indiana, where community members, including those who are homeless or experiencing severe poverty, are free to pick their own food. The gardens have brought diverse Hoosiers together to grow, harvest, share, and eat healthy food. In Glendale, Arizona, young chef Jibril Saunders honors his mother and sister's legacies by working with the nonprofit Zuri's Circle to teach and empower youth about gardening, eating right, and cooking great food. Even during the pandemic, he supplied families in need with fresh produce right from the local garden. Both individuals are so worthy. The winner for the Best of Earthkind is Sara Stewart.
I am a nurse. I'm a mother of 4 kids. I practice Buddhism. And all of those things have kind of led to where I am now. I would go to places where either people without homes or neighbors in poverty or whatnot would come to get their food. And often it was high-fat, high-salt foods leading straight to exact strokes, diabetes, cardiac illness that we were trying to prevent. And it occurred to me, hey, I'm right in the middle of the farm belt. It costs, $1 for a pack of seeds? Unity Gardens is a cultural value shift. It's an outrageous model where a group of people come together in the same environmental context and grow food for everyone. When I shared the garden idea, literally one person reflected on their past with fond memories and one person looked forward with hope. That was that aha moment for me where I knew that this was something different. This was an empowerment model. The food is good out here, the nature is good, the green space, but it's an inclusive model where we have transcended the normal charitable dance of those who give and those who've received. Everyone out here is welcome, so it's a dignified free food experience. You don't have to be poor to be here. You don't have to be wealthy. You don't have to prove that you tried to get 3 jobs or are from the right neighborhood. No healthy food for you. And almost everyone can kind of connect to what that is. And so we'll get a lot of kids that just come over to play, see the goats or chickens or pick fresh vegetables. And then they make it part of their routine and incorporate wellness. The only requirement to be a Unity Garden is that it's a group of people coming together to grow food that's free for everyone. Everyone wants to be part of something positive, something bigger than themselves. So to have the trailblaze, so to speak, so that other people can do this is what it's all about. Watching the fragileness of all of us is both the hardest thing, but it's also the best thing because that is what we heal out here.
And now it's time for our 2021 Best of Womankind Award, honoring extraordinary female community members who elevate the lives of those around them. Like general store owner Dorothy Oliver, whose volunteer work resulted in a 97% vaccination rate in Panola, Alabama. She went door to door coordinating appointments and transportations for her fellow residents, and she says she will not stop until 100% of the community is vaccinated. Then there's Shreya Venkat, a sophomore at Georgetown University, who is on the co-founder and CEO of the teenage nonprofit Nest for Us, built on kindness, generosity, and social good. In just 5 years, her volunteer base has grown to more than 2,000 people of all ages and backgrounds, supporting causes like global hunger, quality education, and social justice. It's hard to make a call on this one, but our Womankind Award winner is Dorothy Oliver.
My name is Dorothy Oliver. I live in Panola, Alabama, working with the COVID-19 Panola Project and working in the community now We own a little small store, general store. So I work there mostly every day or every other day I'm there. And that's where I call people on the phone, set up appointments for them to get their vaccine. That was my journey. That was my calling, I believe. God just put on my heart. I tell you, I try my best not to get involved in all this. But it just kept, every morning I get up, it was back at me again. The evening time, it's back at me again. So I said, well, I know what I got to do. The town is so far out. It's a rural area. So what I try to do is just work with the community, kind of keep them motivated, and try to bring stuff into the community. And I started calling and started scheduling appointments for, the people to go get their shots and everything. We actually went door to door. I found out the best way to go to people, you don't go demanding anything. Go to them calm and go. That's how I got a lot of success. Going to people's calm, talking to them, and just telling them how serious it is. If you stay calm with them, they say, Miss Oliver, you serious? You serious about this? I said, I'm serious about it. We definitely need to think about it. And I think that way got a whole lot of it. And then you got to turn around and put it kind of in not a serious matter, kind of like not necessarily a joking matter because it's not a joke, but kind of let them know how serious everything is. And that's how I went to them. Just stay calm, didn't try it. If they got upset, I didn't. And I got a lot of positive stuff. We're glad you all came. We didn't know this. We didn't know how to go get this vaccination. We didn't know how to go back, make an appointment or whatever. So we wound up just going door to door. I mean, we got in our cars and went door to door and talked to people. So I'm real proud of that. So people was able to get the shots and get vaccinated.
Warm greetings to you all. My name is Tony Fauci, Director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases and Chief Medical Advisor to President Biden. I am very pleased to offer my congratulations to Dorothy Oliver for winning the Humankind Award for her dedication to getting her neighbors vaccinated and keeping her community safe from this pandemic. What an extraordinary accomplishment, Dorothy, helping 97% of eligible residents in your community get vaccinated. We honor you for your dedication, tireless efforts, and your passion. As we all know, our country is struggling to bring the COVID-19 pandemic under control and put this traumatic experience behind us. Essential to our recovery will be the contributions of many public-minded individuals unselfishly helping us to protect and restore the fabric of our society. One lesson we've learned from the COVID-19 pandemic is the importance of coming together and supporting our communities during these difficult times. As a result of the COVID-19 pandemic, you have been put in the most extraordinary and unique position of being a bridge between your neighbors and access to these safe and effective vaccines. What you have done is a prime example of being a trusted messenger that can truly make a difference by listening to people's questions, empathizing with their concerns, and providing clear, accurate information about vaccination. Again, congratulations on this award and all you have accomplished thus far. Thank you for all you've done and will continue to do, and all the best to you.
As a mom and a former teacher, I am so especially proud of the educators who went above and beyond to take care of our kids this year. This next award goes to a teacher, a counselor, a principal, an educator who devotes their time and energy to teaching kids how to become better humans. One of those educators is Pierre Carly LaFay in Red Oak, Texas. When school shut down, she created a hotline to help her students adjust to a virtual learning environment. The hotline expanded as the need for technical assistance grew, and she raised close to $1 million to support her entire district. And let's meet Kimberly Mileszko, who contacts local business organizations and community groups in her New Jersey town and asks, how can my special needs students help you? She's placed dozens of her students in job training programs where they have just flourished. So who is our Humankind Educator of the Year winner? Congratulations to Kimberly Mileszko.
My name is Kim Mileszko, and I am the District Job Developer for the Lenape Regional High School District. I'm an advocate for the special needs population, and I also assist my local businesses in my community to find students to mentor and have internship opportunities for. I believe that everyone is born with a specific set of gifts and talents and skills, and it has been my greatest honor to be able to tap into my students' strengths and match them with area employers who are able to benefit from those strengths. The students I work with are between the ages of 17 to 21. Their primary goal of their education is to learn independent life skills. I'm very fortunate to work in the district that I do. They provide a lot of resources into making our transition service program very successful. During a typical school year, our students are given 2 to 3 different internship opportunities with local businesses. Prior to COVID, we had partnered with about 80 different employers. During the height of the pandemic, we were unable to send the students out to work in the community, and our students were extremely disappointed. Every day I'd walk into school, they would ask me, Mrs. Mileszko, when can we go back to work? So as a result of this, I was able to network in our community using social media, and I also cold called area employers to find out if they had work for our students to be able to do in the classroom. That turned out to be a tremendous success. Our employers provided our students with work to do in the classroom throughout the whole year. And it was really a win-win opportunity because our students were still able to do and gain work skills, and the employers were able to get extra help during a time when they needed it. In a world where we're facing labor shortages, there's a demographic that's often overlooked. This demographic, if given the opportunity and in the right setting, would be a wonderful addition or asset to any employer. I thank our community for opening the doors for these students. Not only are they giving them the opportunity to work and to shine with the gifts that they have, but in turn, our employers are also teaching diversity and the value of diversity and the importance of diversity for both their employers and their customers. So it's one of the greatest honors I've had. I love my job.
Our next award is given to someone who has overcome a personal challenge with courage, kindness, and perseverance, achieving what they thought was impossible. When Yuri Williams lost his mother to cancer in 2009, he committed himself to helping others. Yuri is the founder of a future superhero and Friends. He visits sick children dressed as Spider-Man and attends blood drives, movie nights, and toy drives. Yuri has now helped at least one person in all 50 states. After a chance meeting at a bar, Mark Scotch donated his kidney to a complete stranger who was one of the 90,000 Americans waiting for a life-saving kidney. After the transplant, Mark discovered the urgent need for living kidney donors and set off on an epic 1,500-mile bicycle ride to raise awareness and commemorate his unforgettable experience. The Humankind Triumph of the Year award goes to Mark Scotch.
A couple years ago, my wife and I were leaving Wisconsin for the winter. We had just retired, and so we were on a trip to go to Texas, actually. And we stopped along the way in a small town in Louisiana. We pulled into a microbrewery. There was a guy in the bar, and we just sat there and talked for about an hour or so at least. And then my wife came in, introduced Lynn, my wife, to Hugh. And after a little bit, he said he had to go home. So I said, "You sure you got to go?" He goes, "Yeah." He says, "I have to go home and go on dialysis." His kidneys had failed. He was stage 4 renal failure. And he casually just said, "I'm looking for a kidney." And I immediately said, "I can give you one of mine." And I could say that that quickly because I had a sister-in-law that had donated a kidney about 14 years ago. So I knew you could donate. And also, a little over 40 years ago, our first son had died and was on life support. He was only 15 months old. And all those years that had come up in conversation that my wife especially had always wished we could have donated his organs once we found out about organ donation. I knew in that instant that it was something I could do to, I wouldn't say make up for it, but be able to to fulfill that wish that my wife had. It sounds kind of strange to say all those thoughts were in my head at the same time and it happened so quickly, but that's really what happened. When Hugh said he needed a kidney, I just knew that I could do that, and I wanted to do that. And so that's how it started. Little did I know later, as I started to learn about how to donate to Hugh, that there was such an urgent and dire need. I didn't realize there were literally basically 100,000 people right now today in this country looking for a kidney. The bike rides that came afterwards were a function of trying to share what we learned and share about this dire need. And my wife and I both just feel that it's a solvable problem. I mean, as crazy as that might sound, the numbers prove that if we wanted to in this country, if enough people learned about it, possibly, and enough people cared enough, that there wouldn't be any people on the wait list, let alone dying. Hugh got his kidney February 18th, and I started my ride the end of April 24th from Madison. So I got into Natchitoches on May 11th, and we met. And it's the second time Hugh and I had met, but the first time I met him without my kidney, and the first time I met him with his kidney. So that was very important to me to be able to finish it healthy, and then of course meet Hugh at the end was just total icing on the cake. It's just unbelievable what you can do to change somebody's life.
In a way, all of these winners are viewers' choice because you voted for them. The Viewer's Choice Award is given to your favorite kind of human, someone whose kindness inspires us to do better, be better, and want better for our world. Like Caroline Lindner, founder of Nashville Street Barbers, who spends her Monday nights giving free haircuts to men and women in need. With this simple act, Caroline acknowledges her clients with hardships, offering them respect, dignity, and a little style. And Mark James, a corrections deputy at the Florida Sheriff's Office. He mentors youth through a program called New Nation of Men, offering essential skills that will empower and sustain young men throughout their lives. And the people have spoken. The 2021 Humankind Viewer's Choice winner is Mark James.
I'm from the oldest city in the nation, which is St. Johns County, Florida, St. Augustine, Florida. And I am a mentor with the New Nation of Men Incorporated, which is my organization that I founded to mentor young men. And I am a corrections deputy with the St. Johns County Sheriff's Office, St. Johns County's finest. The New Nation of Men is a group of individuals who volunteer in the community to try to improve the lives of young men between the ages of 5 and 15 years old. It doesn't matter the race. We're just trying to shape the lives of young men by having positive interaction with men within the community that can help groom them into becoming better citizens in the community. Right now, I have about 25 youths that I serve with about 4 additional volunteers that help me out. The goal is to go city to city within North Florida within the next 2 years, to go the entire state of Florida within the next 10 years, and then eventually expand nationwide. My motto is it takes a village to raise a child, and it starts with us. So it's not about New Nation of Men per se. It's about the child. It's about the young men that we serve, whatever we can do to better their lives. So if I can help another organization, I'll be willing to do that. If they want to join forces and partner up, I'm willing to do that. As long as the goal is about improving the lives of young men, I'm all in. You know, it's all about spending time. And it costs you no money to do that. And I guarantee you, spending time with the kid, if you see them somewhere, Walmart, McDonald's, at the movies, etc., they're going to tell their parent or whoever they're with, hey, that guy came to my school and played Uno with me. That guy came and played basketball with me. They're going to remember that for the rest of their lives. And you didn't have to do nothing but spend time. So that's the biggest thing I want people to take from here is if you volunteer your time and sincere with it, you're helping improve the lives of kids who may be going through something and all they just want is to simply have somebody spend some time with them or talk to them.
hope we are all so inspired by these incredible people, the very best. And they have all led up to our top honor of the night, the 2021 Humankind Person of the Year. This award goes to someone who has showcased the very highest level of kindness, compassion, and selflessness in their community. Heather Boone is the pastor of Oaks of Righteousness Church in Monroe, Michigan, and she's living a life of service. Heather founded a homeless shelter, a free daycare center, a tutoring program, and a food pantry that provides more than 10,000 meals a year. And Renee LaBerge is the inspiration behind Vermont's South Burlington Dolphins youth football program. He's taught young people the importance of teamwork, sacrifice, hard work, and perseverance for 55 years on and off the field, giving them belief in their own abilities. And the 2021 Humankind Person of the Year is Pastor Heather Boone.
I'm Pastor Boone, and I am a pastor. I'm also the founder of a nonprofit, Oaks Village. I was the founder of Oaks of Righteousness, which is a church, and we are a homeless shelter. We are a food pantry, a clothes closet, a soup kitchen, a free childcare center, a free medical clinic, and a nonprofit grocery store. I'm also a wife and a mother. So I've been in ministry for some years, and I got sent to Monroe 12 years ago, and I pastored a little small church, and I was there for about 3 years, but I really felt God was pressing me to stay in Monroe. So my husband and I, we made the decision to start our own church. And when we started our own church, we went to go buy a building, and the building, it had a warming shelter in it at one point. So they were going to close the warming shelter. And I showed up one day, and there was a homeless man laying on the ground. We were just going to look at the building. And I was thinking, wow, I'm taking this man's home away. I don't want to do that. So we bought the building, and we decided to keep the warming shelter going. And in that time, the first year we served 91 people, because they said it was just a few people. Well, 91 is not a few people to me. That's a huge number. And so since then, our numbers have went up, and we've served hundreds of people. But during the time when, after we started the warming shelter, my husband and I, we made the decision to move into the warming shelter, the homeless shelter, with the people to raise money so that we could eventually buy a bigger shelter, a bigger church, so that we could expand the homeless shelter, because we just could not deal with the fact that there were people living out on the street. So we moved into the homeless shelter. We lived right there with the people for 2 years. And then we bought another property. And when we bought this other property, we ended up going into the clothes closet, the food pantry. We started a food pantry. We did a lunch program. We just started expanding to more stuff, because people would come into the shelter with like nothing but the clothes on their back. So we would get furniture, we would get clothes, we would get whatever, just to kind of help people to get on their feet. And then we noticed that childcare was a huge issue. So that's what made us want to start the free childcare center. There is no one road that leads to homelessness. So people are there for so many different reasons. And so it's a humbling experience, but it's also an experience where you realize that these are people just like you, and we're all really just a few paychecks away from being in the same predicament. And we have expanded our shelter, so it's not just a warming shelter, it's a year-round 75-bed shelter where we, house sometimes up to 500 people a year. And so we do write for grants, but I'm also an unpaid pastor. So anything that I would make, I just put back in the ministry, because I believe in this, and I just want to see people reach their best life, people to be happy, to be whole, and to see people off the streets. In this community, we have so many volunteers. It is absolutely amazing. I have volunteer nurses, volunteer doctors, teachers, cooks. I mean, people who are retired, who've had extensive careers, people who are still working, who come and just volunteer hours. It has been amazing what this community has done. I love Monroe, and the people in this town have really stepped up. And I think if every town and every group, everywhere, every people in every community would do this, we could solve so many problems. And that's really just it. Just loving people as you love yourself, and just letting people know that they matter and they're important.
Congratulations to all of our Best of Humankind Award winners. Well, what did I tell you? You would laugh, you would cry, you would feel better about the world, and you'd be inspired to commit acts of kindness for others. All of these finalists have one thing in common. They do what they do even if their kindness wasn't captured on camera and shared with the world. I hope during this holiday season and throughout the year, we keep their selflessness in mind, and better yet, we follow in their footsteps. So think about what small thing you can do in your own life that will bring joy to someone else. It could be someone you know and love, or it could be a total stranger. To see more incredible stories, visit humankindawards.com. And don't forget to enter to win $2,000 for you and your charity of choice. Thank you so much for watching and supporting the very best of humankind.
Kindness is an action that you take to lighten someone's load, and you don't expect anything back.
Listening to the needs of people around you and seeing what you can do to help.
To change the trajectory of somebody's day on a positive note.
Kindness to me is just continue trying to help people. They don't have it, you go to them and try to help them.
Kindness starts with doing the right thing when no one's watching.
Being a good neighbor, being a good co-worker, being a good father.
It's super easy to be kind. It's super easy to make connections. It's super easy to go above and beyond what is expected.
Cliche-ish, but it's just basically treating people the way you want to be treated.
It's just to go that extra mile, that extra step to being kind and to feel that love.
Understanding, like really looking deeply at one another, taking the moment to fully understand. When we do that, we understand ourselves better.
And I think that's what kindness is, just letting people know you are important.
Thank you for watching USA Today's 2021 Best of Humankind Awards. For more, follow Humankind and visit humankindawards.com.